I'm going to look at how the British royal family found itself at the centre of the most talked about story in the world, for the wrong reason.
Naturally, the royal family has always sparked intrigue, from King George IV to Queen Elizabeth II. Yet few stories have captivated the world like that of Princess Diana and Prince Charles. What began as a fairy tale gradually revealed itself to be riddled with tension and struggle, ultimately culminating in a very public, bitter divorce marred by claims of scandalous infidelity that shook the monarchy. But what truly defined their relationship? What shocking revelations do Prince Philip's letters to Diana unveil about their tumultuous love life? Join us as we delve into the details of Prince Philip's secret letters to Diana and how they expose the hidden truths about King Charles. The princess's early life. Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1, 1961, into the noble Spencer family, which boasted deep ties to British royalty for generations. She was the fourth of 5 children born to John Spencer, Viscount Althorp, and his wife Frances. Diana's arrival was not quite what her parents had hoped for. They had desired a boy to carry on the family name. In fact, she remained nameless for a week until they ultimately decided on Diana Frances, honoring both her mother and a distant relative, Lady Diana Spencer, who had nearly become a Princess of Wales herself centuries earlier. Diana's childhood was anything but ordinary. She was born at Park House on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, a residence leased from none other than Queen Elizabeth II, whom young Diana affectionately referred to as Aunt Lilibet. Surrounded by the royal family's world, Diana played with Princes Andrew and Edward during their visits to nearby Sandringham House. Her upbringing was steeped in royal connections, yet her family life was not as glamorous as it appeared on the surface. Diana had 3 siblings, Sarah, Jane, and Charles. However, her birth was overshadowed by tragedy. Her infant brother, John, had passed away just a year earlier. This profound loss, coupled with the pressure to produce a male heir, took a toll on her parents' marriage. Diana's mother, Frances, endured the humiliation of being sent to medical specialists in London, a situation that Diana's younger brother, Charles, later believed contributed to their parents' eventual divorce. The atmosphere at home was fraught with tension. When Diana was just 7 years old, her life took a dramatic turn. After years of struggle, her parents finally divorced. Frances soon found love again with Peter Shand Kidd, marrying him in 1969. The previous year had been equally tumultuous. Diana began the new year living in London with her mother, but by Christmas 1967, family circumstances had soured. Diana's father, Lord Althorp, refused to allow her to return from the holidays with her mother. Tragically, Frances lost custody of Diana and her 3 siblings, a heartbreaking outcome exacerbated by her own mother's involvement. Ruth Roche, Baroness Fermoy, who was also Frances' mother and served as a lady-in-waiting to the Queen Mother, played a crucial role in the custody battle. Disapproving of Frances' relationship with Peter Shand Kidd, whom she regarded as a man in trade, Baroness Fermoy shockingly testified against her own daughter, portraying her as an unfit mother. Consequently, custody of all 4 children was awarded to their father, Lord Althorp. This betrayal left a deep scar on Frances, and many believe it transformed her into a reclusive, sorrowful figure, haunted by the loss of her children. In 1966, Diana's father remarried Reine, Countess of Dartmouth, introducing further turmoil into her life. Diana's relationship with her new stepmother was anything but harmonious. She harbored deep resentment towards Reine, perceiving her as controlling and overbearing, even labeling her a bully. The tension between them escalated to the point where Diana once pushed Reine down the stairs in a fit of anger. It was evident that Diana's childhood was far from the fairy tale many envisioned. She later described it as very unhappy and marked by instability. In 1965, when her father inherited the title of Earl Spencer, Diana officially became Lady Diana. This new title brought another significant change. The entire family relocated from Park House to Althorp, the grand Spencer family estate in Northamptonshire. Despite the prestige that came with their titles and the grandeur of their new home, Diana's early years were characterized by emotional upheaval, laying the groundwork for the complex woman she would ultimately become. Given her royal connections, one might wonder why she had yet to meet Prince Charles, and when that opportunity would finally arise. The first encounter. On a warm summer day in 1980, a house party was in full swing at the charming home of Diana's friend, Philip de Pass, located in New Grove near Petworth. It was here that 16-year-old Lady Diana Spencer first met 29-year-old Prince Charles. They found themselves seated next to each other on a hay bale at a post-polo barbecue, sharing laughter and conversation amidst the festivities. Diana, with her gentle spirit, reached out to Charles about a profound loss he had recently suffered: the murder of his beloved great-uncle, Lord Mountbatten, at the hands of the IRA just a year earlier. "My heart bled for you when I watched the funeral," she expressed, her compassion shining through. "I thought, it's wrong. You're lonely. You should be with somebody to look after you." This heartfelt sentiment resonated deeply with Charles, who was in a vulnerable state at the time. Penny Junor, an author who later chronicled their relationship, observed that Diana had said just the right thing at just the right moment, genuinely moving Charles with her empathy. However, this was not their first encounter. Charles and Diana had crossed paths 2 years earlier in 1977, when Charles was dating Diana's older sister, Lady Sarah. During a visit to Althorpe, the Spencer family estate, Charles found Diana to be quite jolly. Their paths intertwined again at Charles's 30th birthday party at Buckingham Palace in November 1978, and at a shooting party hosted by Queen Elizabeth II at Sandringham in January 1979. While Sarah didn't seem particularly enamored with Prince Charles, Diana felt differently. According to the Diana Chronicles by Tina Brown, Diana confided to her friends, "I will marry him. He is the only man on the planet who is not allowed to divorce me." Yet, in a later interview with biographer Andrew Morton, who wrote Diana, her true story, the princess revealed that it was not love at first sight for her. Instead, she recalled thinking, "God, what a sad man." In contrast, Prince Charles, during his engagement interview, reflected on his thoughts about Diana, noting that he remembered her as a very jolly, amusing, and attractive 16-year-old, full of life and great fun. The courting. Following their earlier encounters, Charles began inviting Diana to ballet performances and dinners with friends. Although their relationship was strictly platonic at this stage, Diana brought a joyful presence to the gatherings. However, everything changed during that pivotal conversation about Lord Mountbatten. At that moment, Charles began to see Diana as a potential girlfriend. Eager to get to know her better, Charles quickly invited Diana to Balmoral, where he was spending a summer holiday with a group of friends. It didn't take long for her to charm everyone around her, solidifying her place in his life and setting the stage for the romance that would follow. Diana was the life of the party, radiating laughter and warmth that endeared her to everyone. In the eyes of those around her, she seemed like the perfect girl, funny, engaging, and genuinely adoring Charles. To the royal family, Diana ticked all the boxes for a potential bride, a young, aristocratic woman who appeared uncomplicated and full of life. However, the realities of royal expectations loomed large. By the 1980s, it was still considered essential that Charles's future wife be a virgin, an aristocrat, and a member of the Church of England. Yet, as societal norms shifted during the intimate revolution of the 1960s, finding such aristocratic virgins became increasingly challenging, especially as Charles approached his 30s. Just as their relationship blossomed, pressure began to mount. Since turning 18, the media had scrutinized Charles's every move, speculating on each girlfriend and questioning whether she might be the next queen. This relentless attention made it difficult for Charles to connect with anyone on a personal level. With Diana, it was no different. Once the press discovered their relationship, they camped outside her London flat, following her every move and turning her life into a spectacle. Amid all this turmoil, Charles also faced pressure from his father, Prince Philip, who felt it was time for him to stop chasing skirts and settle down with a suitable wife. Now, in his 30s, it was clear to everyone that Charles needed to establish a family. After all, every heir was required to have an heir of his own. One cannot run a monarchy without one. In laughter and in love, the mounting pressures of royal life began to reveal a realm of complexities that loomed uncertainly for both Charles and Diana: the engagement and wedding. On a crisp day in February 1981, the world buzzed with excitement as news broke of the official engagement between Diana Spencer and Prince Charles. This moment would forever alter the course of Diana's life. With a twinkle in her eye, she personally selected her engagement ring, a symbol of the new chapter she was about to embark upon. The engagement was celebrated not only in Britain but around the globe, with the public eagerly anticipating the royal wedding, which promised to be a grand spectacle. After the engagement announcement, Diana resigned from her beloved position as a nursery teacher's assistant. She initially moved to Clarence House, the Queen Mother's residence, before transitioning to Buckingham Palace to prepare for her upcoming wedding. However, life in the palace was not all glitz and glamour. Biographer Ingrid Seward described her experience as incredibly lonely, starkly contrasting the fairy tale that was about to unfold. Diana was not just any bride. She made history by becoming the first Englishwoman to marry the heir to the throne since Anne Hyde wed James, Duke of York, over 300 years earlier. Additionally, Diana was breaking new ground as the first royal bride to have a paying job before her engagement, showcasing a refreshing modernity within the royal family. As the days passed, excitement grew, culminating in a spectacular event on July 29, 1981, when Diana, just 20 years old, became the Princess of Wales. The grand wedding took place at St. Paul's Cathedral, chosen for its larger capacity compared to the usual Westminster Abbey. This was no ordinary ceremony. It was a global fairy tale wedding, watched by an astounding worldwide audience of 750 million, with hundreds of thousands braving the rain-drenched London streets just to catch a glimpse of the golden couple. As Diana approached the altar, she was filled with hope and joy, but nerves got the best of her, leading to a memorable moment where she mistakenly referred to Charles as Philip Charles Arthur George, eliciting chuckles from the crowd. In a nod to her desire for a more modern relationship, Diana chose to omit the traditional vow to obey her husband, a decision that sparked considerable conversation at the time. Her wedding dress was a breathtaking creation valued at $9,000 at the time, equivalent to around $43,570 today, featuring a stunning 25-foot train that trailed behind her like a cloud of elegance. The royal family soon recognized her place within their ranks, embracing the fresh spirit and energy that Diana brought to the monarchy. In the years following the wedding, the Queen bestowed significant tokens of royal membership upon Diana, lending her the stunning Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara and granting her the prestigious badge of the Royal Family Order of Elizabeth II. However, little did the happy couple know that trouble loomed on the horizon in the form of Camilla, a presence that would profoundly impact their relationship. Charles' relationship with Camilla. In the early 1970s, a young Prince Charles was introduced to Camilla Rosemary Shand through a mutual friend, Lucia Santa Cruz. From that very first meeting, Charles was captivated by Camilla's wide grin and infectious laughter, finding her a refreshing presence amidst the weight of his royal responsibilities. Their connection deepened, and Charles began to call her frequently, eager to explore their budding romance. However, fate intervened when Charles joined the Royal Navy in 1971, putting a strain on their relationship due to the demands of his schedule and the distance between them. Compounding their challenges was the societal perception that Camilla was not suitable as a future queen. Whispers circulated that she was not chaste and lacked the aristocratic pedigree deemed necessary for such a match. Eventually, the couple decided to part ways, heartbroken and resigned to the belief that their fairy tale romance was not meant to be. During Charles's time in the Caribbean, Camilla moved on and became engaged to Andrew Parker Bowles, a man connected to Charles's own family. The news devastated Charles, who felt a profound sense of loss at the thought of their joyful relationship being cut short. In a letter, he expressed his heartache, reminiscing about their blissful moments together and lamenting how quickly it had all come crashing down. Despite the heartache, Charles and Camilla managed to maintain their friendship, preserving their bond even through her marriage. This enduring connection would later play a pivotal role in the complexities of Charles's life and his relationship with Diana. As the years passed, Charles and Camilla's relationship rekindled into something more intimate around 1978 or 1979. During this time, Camilla's husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, seemed to turn a blind eye to the affair. Rumors suggested that he was fully aware of their relationship but chose to accept it, possibly even relishing the idea of his wife being involved with a future king. Amidst this complicated web of relationships, Charles also found himself drawn to another young woman, Lady Diana Spencer. Born into an aristocratic family, Diana appeared to be the perfect fit to marry the heir to the throne. While Charles began courting Diana, his connection with Camilla remained strong. In a curious twist of fate, the two women were even spotted together at one of Charles's races in 1980, a scene that foreshadowed the tensions to come. Little did anyone know, the royal saga was far from over, and the intertwined lives of these three individuals would continue to captivate the world. Tensions in the royal marriage. From the early days of Diana and Charles's courtship, Diana sensed that Charles's connection with Camilla was more significant than it appeared on the surface. However, at just 19 years old, she may not have fully grasped the emotional depth of their relationship. Despite her suspicions, the true extent of Camilla's influence likely became clearer to her only after their engagement was underway. Diana's unease was first triggered by small yet telling signs of Camilla's lingering presence in Charles's life. According to Andrew Morton's biography, Diana, Her True Story, one particularly unsettling instance was Diana's discovery of cufflinks worn by Charles that had been gifted by Camilla. These cufflinks featured intertwined C's, symbolizing Charles and Camilla, and their presence served as a painful reminder for Diana. Every time she saw them, the ghostly image of Camilla reinforced the feeling that her influence over Charles remained strong, even in the face of Diana's imminent marriage to him. In hindsight, Diana later revealed how uncomfortable she had always felt about Camilla's presence. However, at the time, the royal family's social circles were tightly knit, and it was common for old friends to remain in contact. To a young Diana, still navigating the complexities of royal life and long-standing relationships, Camilla's bond with Charles may have initially seemed innocent. Yet as time passed, it became increasingly clear that their connection ran far deeper than she had anticipated. Diana's growing concerns about Camilla deeply troubled her. When she attempted to express her fears to members of the royal family, she was met with little empathy or support. This lack of understanding was not due to indifference, but rather the deeply ingrained way the British royal family managed personal matters, an approach starkly different from what Diana was accustomed to. Shaped by centuries of tradition, the royal family had cultivated a culture of emotional restraint. Their unspoken motto of keep calm and carry on meant that personal struggles were to be addressed quietly, behind closed doors, without public discussion. This stiff upper lip approach often led to uncomfortable issues being brushed aside rather than confronted head-on. For the royal family, composure and discretion were paramount, and open displays of emotion were perceived as improper or even a sign of weakness. As Diana grappled with her feelings of insecurity regarding Camilla, she found herself increasingly isolated within the rigid confines of royal expectations, exacerbating her sense of loneliness and vulnerability. In this environment, Diana's emotional openness and need for communication clashed dramatically with the royal family's more reserved way of handling things. Sensitive and expressive by nature, Diana craved validation, warmth, and a space where she could openly share her feelings. She hoped to address the growing issues, especially her suspicions about Charles and Camilla, and sought reassurance from her new family. Yet instead of compassion, her concerns were largely dismissed, leaving her feeling unsupported and misunderstood. However, there had to be at least one person who wanted to help Diana, right? Diana's relationship with Prince Philip. Diana coped with her struggles in various ways, though many were difficult and complex. Often feeling like a stranger in her own family, she yearned for the warmth and emotional support she craved. To escape the weight of her loneliness and the intense pressures surrounding her, she found solace in charitable work. This not only provided her with a renewed sense of purpose, but also helped her forge connections with the public. By reaching out to help others, Diana discovered a way to focus her energy and momentarily distract herself from her inner turmoil. However, privately, Diana battled bulimia, an eating disorder she later revealed was a coping mechanism for the intense emotional turmoil she experienced. The pressure to appear perfect in public, combined with her relationship struggles, took a toll on her mental health. She sought therapy and confided in close friends, but her struggles were often kept out of public view, hidden behind her radiant public persona. Amidst all this, Prince Philip, often seen as the strict and no-nonsense figure of the royal family, shared a closer relationship with Diana than many realized. Although known for his blunt manner and controversial offhand remarks, Prince Philip had a deep sense of duty toward both his family and the monarchy. This sense of responsibility led Prince Philip to take a more active role in addressing the troubles within Diana and Charles's marriage. The Queen and Prince Philip encouraged open communication between Diana and Charles, expressing hope that they could reconcile. Although he had a reputation for being blunt, he tried to offer practical advice, drawing on his own experience of adapting to royal life. His efforts were aimed at helping Diana feel less isolated and providing her with a sense of understanding within the confines of royal expectations. However, despite his involvement, the deep-rooted issues between Diana and Charles ultimately proved too challenging to resolve. For this reason, some believe that Prince Philip began writing her letters, Philip's letters to Diana. In the summer of 1972, as tensions simmered within the royal family, Prince Philip found himself reflecting on the challenges faced by his daughter-in-law Diana. Recognizing the weight of the situation, he decided to reach out to her through a heartfelt letter, one that would reveal the complexities of royal relationships and the struggles that often lay beneath their polished surfaces. As he sat down to write, Prince Philip's intention was clear. He wanted Diana to know that she had his support, especially during a time when her marriage to Charles seemed to be unraveling. He expressed his willingness to help both her and Charles, reassuring her that he would do his utmost to assist them. Yet with a touch of humility, he admitted that he had no real talent as a marriage counselor. This honesty was a breath of fresh air in the world of royal decorum, where the expectations of modesty often stifled emotional expression. In his letters, Prince Philip likely conveyed empathy and understanding, acknowledging the difficulties of navigating royal life while also trying to maintain personal happiness. He recognized that beneath the surface of royal glamour lay a profound struggle for emotional fulfillment, particularly for someone like Diana, who had been thrust into a demanding environment. His letters became a source of comfort and solidarity, a reminder to Diana that she was not alone in her challenges. Through these exchanges, Philip aimed to create a bridge of understanding and support, hoping to alleviate some of the burdens that weighed heavily on Diana's heart as she faced the complexities of her marriage and royal duties. Prince Philip's words were not merely an acknowledgement of Diana's plight, they also reflected the royal family's disapproval of extramarital affairs. He spoke candidly about Charles's relationship with Camilla, expressing concern over the potential fallout from such a scandal. The prince pointed out how foolish it was for Charles to risk everything for a relationship that could jeopardize the monarchy. His statements revealed the protective instincts of a father and a royal, keenly aware of the implications that personal choices could have on the family's reputation. As he penned his letter, Prince Philip aimed to reassure Diana that, in his eyes, no one would ever leave her for Camilla. His words were meant to encourage her confidence, remind her of her worth, and dispel the insecurities that clouded her mind. He signed off the letter with "Fondest love, Pa," a gentle reminder of their familial bond amid the storm brewing around them. However, Prince Philip's letter was not without its complexities. He posed a significant question to Diana. Could she truly say that Charles's relationship with Camilla had nothing to do with her own behavior? This pointed inquiry suggested that he recognized the intricate dance of emotions at play within their marriage. It highlighted a delicate balance of blame and accountability, emphasizing that both parties contributed to the rift that was forming. In the months that followed, Patrick Jeffson, Diana's private secretary, would come to learn just how much that letter meant to her. Diana confided in him, expressing how significant it was to receive the support of her in-laws. For her, it was more than just words on paper. It was a validation of her struggles and a recognition of her feelings. In a world where public scrutiny was relentless and the pressures of a royal life were overwhelming, this acknowledgement brought her a sense of comfort and understanding. Ultimately, Prince Philip's letter served as both a balm for Diana's emotional wounds and a stark reminder of the complexities of royal life. It encapsulated the duality of support and scrutiny that defined her experience, leaving her to navigate her path amid the tangled web of duty, loyalty, and love. Yet the timing of Prince Philip's letter was crucial. It came just months before Charles and Diana would announce their separation, during a period steeped in speculation about the state of their marriage. The royal family was facing a crossroads, and the pressures were mounting. Prince Philip's involvement reflected not just a concern for his family, but also an understanding of the institution itself. He knew that any public breakdown would reverberate far beyond their personal lives, potentially tarnishing the reputation of the monarchy. As he reflected on his role within this uncertain narrative, Prince Philip had to confront the painful reality that, despite his efforts, the situation was spiraling beyond his control. While he had been committed to helping Diana and Charles reconcile, it was becoming increasingly clear that the distance between them was growing. The emotional ties that Charles had to Camilla loomed large, and Diana, feeling isolated, found it harder to navigate her place within the royal family. Ultimately, Prince Philip had to accept that despite his best intentions, the marriage was beyond repair. He continued to sympathize with Diana, recognizing the immense strain on both her and the monarchy. The reality of the situation could no longer be ignored, and as much as he wished to protect the royal image, the cracks in the facade were too significant to overlook. The inevitable divorce. Prince Philip's attempts to mediate and support Diana and Charles's marriage ultimately proved unsuccessful. Despite his genuine intentions and efforts to bridge the gap between the couple, the fundamental issues in their relationship, particularly Charles's ongoing emotional attachment to Camilla, created insurmountable challenges. Philip's frustration grew as he realized that his efforts to maintain peace were becoming increasingly difficult, and the situation was spiraling out of control. Despite his continued sympathy for Diana and his desire to protect the royal image, he eventually had to acknowledge that the marriage was beyond repair. The impending divorce signified not just the end of a troubled union, but also a critical moment for the royal family. As the public became increasingly aware of the turmoil within the monarchy, Prince Philip's hope for reconciliation faded, leaving him to grapple with the implications of a divorce that would forever alter the landscape of royal life. The reality of the situation became impossible to ignore, ultimately leading to Diana and Charles's eventual separation. This turning point was marked by a landmark interview conducted by journalist Martin Bashir for the BBC's current affairs program Panorama, which aired on November 20th, 1995. During the interview, Diana candidly discussed both her own and her husband's extramarital affairs. She notably remarked on Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, stating, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Her remarks further underscored her doubts about Charles's capability to serve as king. Various authors, including Tina Brown, Sally Beadle-Smith, and Sarah Bradford, supported Diana's acknowledgement of her struggles with depression, bulimia, and self-injury during the interview. The transcript confirmed many of the mental health challenges she faced, leading some biographers to suggest that Diana might have had borderline personality disorder due to the complex combination of issues she endured. The interview served as a pivotal moment in the dynamics of the royal family. Following its broadcast, Buckingham Palace announced on December 20th that the Queen had written to both Charles and Diana, advising them to divorce. This decision, supported by Prime Minister John Major and senior Privy Councillors, followed 2 weeks of intense discussions, reflecting a significant shift in the royal family's approach to personal matters and public perception. The fallout from the interview and the subsequent royal directive marked a profound change in the landscape of the monarchy, emphasizing the challenges of maintaining tradition in a rapidly evolving society. Shortly after the public fallout, Charles formally agreed to the divorce in a written statement. By February 1996, Diana confirmed her agreement after negotiations involving representatives from both Charles and the Queen, which caused irritation at Buckingham Palace, especially when she publicly announced the divorce agreement and its terms. By July 1996, the couple had finalized the terms of their divorce, which included shared custody of their children. Diana received a lump sum settlement of $17 million, approximately $40 million in 2023, along with an annual payment of $400,000. They signed a confidentiality agreement that prohibited them from discussing the details of their divorce or their married life. Just days before, letters patent had been issued to outline the rules governing royal titles post-divorce. As a result, Diana lost the title Her Royal Highness and was styled Diana, Princess of Wales. However, As the mother of the future king, she retained her status within the royal family and was afforded the same precedence she had during her marriage. In summary, the relationship between Prince Philip and Diana was complex and often contentious. While they had their disagreements and Philip did not always see eye to eye with her regarding her public persona, his letters reveal a genuine desire to help maintain family unity and support Diana during tumultuous times. While Charles leaned heavily on Camilla throughout this period, Prince Philip's quiet support for Diana was crucial as she navigated some of the most challenging years of her life. It's evident that Prince Philip's efforts to back Diana extended beyond personal loyalty. They were also about safeguarding the institution to which he had devoted his life. By aligning with Diana, he aimed to preserve the family for the sake of William, Harry, and the monarchy's future. His letters, now made public, reveal a man who, despite his tough demeanor, stood by Diana during her hardest moments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on the link showing on your screen to check out our next video. See you there. See you there. See you there. See you there.